In this video, I will review the third episode of the new Marvel series, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Hey guys, if you're new to this channel, my name is Marieke and welcome to our channel Touch of Magic. In this video, I will review the third episode of the newest edition of the MCU, the series Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If you haven't seen the review of our first and second episode, go to our channel and check it out. And in the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Let's start with the review. This episode starts with the commercial of the Global Repatriation Council, or GRC.
The Global Repatriation Council knows that for many, it wasn't that easy.
Here we find that the consequences of the blip are there and still feelable, and to me a little bit romanticized by the American government, which is, the commercial is kind of fun. But now let's go to the actual episode. So this episode has one major storyline and two pretty small ones. The first major storyline is all about Sam and Bucky, and the smaller storylines are about John Walker and Carly Morgenthau, who we remember as the villain of the series. The storylines overlap a kind of bit and intersect, so I'll start with the first storyline, which is Sam and Bucky, and just go check it out on Disney+. Be aware, there are spoilers. So Sam and Bucky go to a German prison to visit Zemo. You can remember Zemo from Civil War. He was the villain. He was very consumed by his hatred for the Avengers after happenings in Sokovia in the Age of Ultron. He framed Bucky in Civil War, remember? And he made it look like the Winter Soldier killed T'Chaka, the king of Wakanda by that time. And Zemo also used to be a part of HYDRA and knows all the insides. And that's why Bucky and Sam visit Zemo in prison. Sam is not allowed in the prison cell because Zemo, he isn't really fond of the Avengers. So Bucky goes in alone and they have kind of a HYDRA history together. So he thinks they'll be good. But Zemo actually tries to trigger Bucky into becoming the old Winter Soldier. It's actually, I was a little bit on the edge of my seat here because I was like, okay, will he go back to being Winter Soldier? I can't imagine that you will overcome a trauma like that, just like that. Bucky doesn't fall for it, but he does help Zemo escape from prison. Sam does not realize it until the damage is done. He does not agree with what Bucky did, but he just goes with it because he feels like that's what they need to do to find this super soldier serum. So Sam, Bucky, and Zemo are going to find Selby, who probably knows more. So the three of them end up in Madripoor, which is an island nation of the Indonesian archipelago. I don't know how to pronounce it, but it was a pirate sanctuary in the 1800s, apparently. The scenery of Madripoor is actually really well done, and it's really beautiful. It's a bit of modern Pirates of the Caribbean, and with a cyberpunk aesthetic, which gives away really like underground Asian vibes, which is really, really cool. And it actually reminds me a bit of where Hawkeye was in Endgame before the Black Widow came to collect him. So Sam takes place as a character called the Smiling Tiger. And did you know that it actually was a character that appeared in the comics? I think he had a bit of a minor part, but he was there. And Bucky needs to play the Winter Soldier again, and they cannot fall out of part. This plan was all organized by Zemo, and it's a plan to meet Selby, so they can sell that they're a part of the underworld. I think Bucky plays the Winter Soldier a little bit too well, in my opinion. And I think that Sam would agree with me. And it's just to meet Selby. That's what we think, but he's really passionate about it. And we meet Selby, and just like Carly in the comics, Selby was not a she, it was a he. It still was named Carly, and it was still named Selby. And we learn about Wilfred Nagel, who created the super soldier serum. And so they get busted, like how predictable is that? Because Sarah, the sister, calls Sam, and he has to answer it on speakerphone, and he damaged his cover. So there's a lot of action, and now they are outlaws in Madripoor. And in that scene, we actually do meet Sharon Carter. Yay! Even though she wants Zemo in jail, she helps the three. We found out that she has not been doing very well since Civil War, but she's hustling and has her own art gallery, which is pretty cool. And Sharon, the badass woman she is, finds out where Nagel is hiding, even though Selby said that they wouldn't find him without her, but she did it in under a day. And here we actually have the container scene of the trailer, and it's pretty cool. So they actually are having an opportunity to meet Nagel in a container on a dock somewhere, and Sharon is on the lookout. And it is necessary because there are a lot of bounty hunters that are looking for Zemo, Bucky, and Sam. And she actually has to fight them to win some time for them, because in the meantime, the three guys meet Nagel, and they are getting intel on the super soldier serums. We found out that Nagel made it during his time for HYDRA, that the power brokers are willing to invest again in the super soldier serum, and that Carly Morgenthau stole them. So Zemo kills Nagel before this great action sequence with a lot of bullets and fighting, and Zero actually kind of disappears, I think, but it only lasted for like half a minute. But he comes back with a mask, which I think is pretty cool. And I was like, is he the villain? Is he not the villain? There are a lot of questions here. And I truly hope that Zemo is on Sam and Bucky's side on this one, because I kind of liked him. I mean, he was not cool in Civil War by killing T'Chaka and framing Bucky, but still, he got some action moves. After that action sequence, they fly out to Riga, Latvia, to see where Carly could be, because they have a lead on Mama Donya, who was supposed to be the next one who got serum from Carly. But she died in Riga. So they just want to check it out and maybe find some trails of Carly. And Bucky finds these little black balls, which remind me of black Christmas sleigh ball, you know, the jingle things on the side of Santa's sleigh. And he follows the trail, and he meets a woman in the alley, and I think she is Wakandian, and because she speaks kind of an African language, I guess. And this is actually where the episode ends. So now the small storylines of Carly and John Walker. The episode starts with John Walker again, like the last episode. And this episode starts with John Walker finding the hiding place of Carly in Germany. And here in this scene, I thought Lamar was a bit weird. He was not completely translating the things that man said. And he had a really small part. And that was when he suspects Bucky and Sam releasing Zemo from jail. So John Walker, the American patriot, is willing to not let it be on the books type of thing. And he is going after Sam and Bucky. And the last storyline is about Carly. And she didn't play a big role in this episode either, just like John Walker. And we see her in the beginning of the episode saying goodbye to an unknown woman. But it turns out that it's Mama Donya, the woman who died in Latvia, where the episode ends. But we don't know what the relationship is. It could be a mother, because it's called Mama Donya, but it's never made sure that that's an actual fact because she doesn't introduce her. It turns out that Carly had stolen the serums from Nagel and the power broker and knows about everything that has happened in Madripoor. We see her stealing some supplies and foods for the camps and blow up the building with people, which makes her officially a murderer. Up until now, she has only been an activist and a thief, but now she's also a murderer. Now let's go on with my opinion of the episode. Before I start with my opinion, I want to say that I wish I have rewatched Civil War before watching this episode. It feels a bit like a Civil War sequel of actually minor characters and Sam Bucky. With that being said, let's go with the review. So finally we are getting somewhere in the series. Up until now we only had some introductions, and after watching this episode I kind of feel that the theme will be the government and the Britain rules versus the what feels right. And on the what feels right side are both Bucky and Sam as well as the Flag Smashers. We see people wanting working outside of the books as well as extreme activism. The blip has caused a lot of damage and had a lot of consequences, and this series shows it a lot. I even believe that it shows it way more than Spider-Man Far From Home movie did. I also think that the theme is more developing than it could be seen in this episode. This episode was more about learning about who made the serum, Wilfred Nagel, and how. And it was also a lot of action. I do still feel like we don't see a lot of the Flag Smashers as villains. They are stealing supplies. And since this episode, they are blowing buildings up with people in it, which makes them murderers. But from that, we have not yet seen what they are standing for, which is their activism. And that's the kind of group they are. So we haven't seen them developing as a villain yet. And I hope we see a little bit more in future episodes, because I think that's really important for them evolving as villains and not becoming two-dimensional villains. We also learned that there are two villains here. We have the Flag Smashers and we have the Power Brokers. We know what the Flag Smashers want and who they are, but the Power Brokers are still completely in the dark for us and are a true mystery. And I kind of think that's exciting and thrilling. In the first episode, we have been introduced to some characters and they didn't stuck. For example, do you remember Taurus? I mean, where is he? I am a bit confused. I'm really invested in Taurus, guys. I talked about it in the last episode, in the last review of Falcon and the Winter Soldier on this channel, and I'm kind of confused of what he is. We do see Sarah with the phone call, but it was 3 seconds and she blew up things. Well, it's not her fault, and it's about a boat, and it's a storyline about a boat, which is not coming back. I don't know. We don't see them. I hope we see them more and for storylines to evolve. The best part about the episode was the scenery and the action. It was really well executed and done. And I love that Sharon Carter is a badass. I love it. She's fighting back. And the scenery in Madripoor was just gorgeous. And the acting of Anthony Mackie, Sebastian Stan, Never Let You Down, but Wyatt Russell and Emily Van Camp are phenomenal and they're really great. I do think that Erin Kellyman, who plays Carly, still has to get a little bit in the flow. Sometimes I feel that she's a bit awkward and she gives this vibe, but I don't know a lot about acting, but that's just what I feel. But giving her young age and the first time that she has this huge project with a huge part, I think it's great. I couldn't do what she is doing. So what will come? What do I predict? Like I said, a lot of characters have been introduced but haven't quite come back, like Taurus and Sarah. I think that they are introducing more and more characters who will follow. The power brokers who will return. Taurus, maybe Rhodes as the cameo. Who knows? At least I don't. This series is all over the place with its character introductions. And who will we see? I don't know. I do kind of give up on Steve Rogers to make an appearance on the show. But yeah, who knows? Steve Rogers also had hope. So do I. And by the way, did I saw a possible love interest of Sam towards Sharon? I hope we see a little bit more of that. In the next episode, I hope we see more of the Flag Smashers activism instead of them just stealing stuff, because I feel like if this remains, they will not evolve as three-dimensional villains. I also think that we will see more of the theme government versus what is right. We see it evolving every episode, and my prediction is this theme will evolve in the next episode. Episode 5 will revolve around that theme, and the cliffhanger will be around the topic. And in episode 6, everything will be restored in the end. When I was editing and rewatching the episode, because I like to watch an episode twice, I'm also already in comfy clothes. I noticed a couple of things and I don't agree with myself anymore. Is that a thing? I don't know. But I have 3 things that I noticed when I rewatched it. First was about the actress who plays Carly Morgenthau. I said she's a bit awkward, but when I rewatch it, she is really good in the vulnerable pieces. She is really, really, really good. But as soon as she is the villain, like when she blows up things, she's a bit awkward. She's still a bit awkward, but in the vulnerable pieces, she is really good. The second thing that noticed me was the bar fight. When Bucky was in the bar fight, there were people filming. I think he will get in trouble with that. And the third thing, I talked about Taurus that he didn't have an appearance, but he did have an appearance. He had an appearance on the phone with Sam, where they were talking about where Mama Doña was. So I don't agree with myself anymore, and I cleared that up while I was editing. So, okay, let's go with the video. Now it's time for the verdict. In this week's verdict, I want to divide my verdict into 2 sections. The first is the storyline, and the second is the action and the scenery, because I feel that they deserve different verdicts. So from the storyline, I am afraid that I didn't think that it was all good. Even though Sharon Carter is now part of the series, which I love, I feel that the reintroduction of Zemo was a bit weird. If you forgot about the movie Civil War, or if you have never seen it before, it was a bit out of the blue. I completely forget about what happened in Civil War. Well, obviously, I remember that Captain America and Iron Man were standing opposites of each other, and that Steve Rogers was totally against the government. And I didn't remember Civil War as well. I only knew about the fight between Team Captain America and Team Iron Man, and that Steve Rogers was all against the US government and he believed Bucky was being framed, but that was all it. And apparently Zemo was the villain. I had to look it up, and I was Googling Zemo's name, watching the episode, and I was reliving Civil War through Marvelpedia, and I think that should not be necessary in a series. So I didn't think that was good. And what I also didn't think that was a little bit good was we're not getting to know Carly and John Walker. And it's a bit sad though, because I feel that the way that they are evolving Carly and John Walker in this way, they will become two-dimensional, like I said before. And I think that would be a shame, because I do think that Carly, even though she's a villain, and even though her morals aren't right, she does have morals, and she just wants her voice to be out, and she just wants to be heard. If they display that, that will make her into a three-dimensional character. So I will give this storyline 6 out of 10 stars, because there's just too much confusion and pre-information needed. But the scenery and the action, on the other hand, that was so good. This episode was all about action, all about scenery. I mean, I love the cyberpunk kind of vibes of Madripoor, and I love the fight on the dock and in the bar. And have I already said that I love Sharon Carter and how badass she is? I probably have said it 100 times. So if Endgame were to be 10 out of 10, I think I would give this 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was really good. Yeah, I can't say more about it. I was on the edge of my chair. It was thrilling and exciting to watch. I don't know if all people agree with me on that, but I just really love cyberpunk vibes, and I really think that it's awesome that a woman who has no special powers whatsoever, just had training, like I cannot do what she can do, but I could learn what she could, and that makes me feel powerful. So a 9.5 out of 10 stars. Good job, Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'm really looking forward to the next episode, and if you haven't watched it yet, I would say go to Disney Plus now and start streaming. Well, no, don't do that. If you haven't seen it, just watch Civil War first. Warning. But then go to Disney Plus and start streaming. So, what did you think of the episode? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to see more of these videos with Disney and Marvel content, just go watch it and check it out on our channel. And thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate it. And I hope to see you next time on the 4th episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Have a good day. Bye.